expectations for Billy Napier. If you would have asked me this question 2 weeks ago, I don't even know if I would know how to answer it, but it would have been a lot different. It maybe would have been find a way to like win. I don't even know. I mean, I didn't think we would win both of these games, like going into them, and he found a way to do it. So I mean, I'm just gonna start with my expectations for Billy. 9 wins next season. I think it needs to be close to, if not needs to be a playoff team. Because then you want to build off that. I mean, maybe Lagway is a Heisman favorite. Maybe he misses out just close to like a senior or something. Lagway's junior season is going to be the best chance you have at competing for a national title probably in a couple years, unless you have one of these like Will Griffins or Tramel Jones develop really quickly. And I mean, even if they do, none of those are going to be a DJ Lagway. I mean, I don't know when the last time we saw a guy like a DJ Lagway was that as a true freshman might be one of the best QBs in college football. I mean, so my expectations for Billy have really changed from finding a way to save his job and, I mean, becoming like maybe a best 9-win team to we could win a national championship with Billy Napier. If you look in college football, there are only 2 active coaches who have national championships. Kirby
3.
Smart, Dabo, 3, right. I was reading Dabo for some reason. So really only 2, because, I mean, Mac Brown.
That's kind of fake.
Yeah,
that doesn't
that's
really
like,
count. Yeah.
Because his was back in 05.
In a different job.
I had a different job, exactly. And he's probably going to retire. He said he's not retiring this year, but like still. But so it's like
that might not be his decision. They suck.
Aren't they like? Aren't they? They've actually rebounded.
They're going to be set. They're going to go 7-5. Probably.
Let's yeah. But I mean, there's only 2 coaches, Dabo and Kirby, and Dabo's on the decline. Yeah. I mean, he's still a good coach, but like, they're still waiting in the for that next superstar coach. You know, everyone's probably thinking it's like Dan Lanning, and I mean that's probably the best bet. But I mean, hey, if Billy can find a way to make that playoff next year and then start bringing in those top 5 classes, we saw last year Florida. I'm not sure if we peaked at 2 or 3 before the class like collapsed last season. So we know Billy can get some good recruits and can develop those recruits. So next year, if we can get that 9, I really want it to be a 9 win. I don't want to say 8. I feel like it's a little too low. Maybe even 9's too low. I want to see us win 10 games, obviously. But if you can get that 9 win mark and then start recruiting those 10 top 5 classes, I mean, the sky could be still the limit for Billy. He's still a pretty young coach. And he said that practice, that it was a random Wednesday practice during the bye week, that it was the best practice he had ever had, and he'll never forget it for the rest of his life. I'm ready for him to retire and say what happened during that practice, so we will know. But I mean, hey, if it really was something that's going to change him from being a coach that's going to fail at Florida to being a possibly national championship winning coach, then man, I'll wait for it.
Yeah. And before I kind of get into my piece here, I just want to bring up Rob's comment because I do fully agree. I think this is a big thing for next season.
Yes.
I think the play calling is what it is. But if you want to take advantage of the talent you have in Lagway, you need an outside mind to come in and really revamp this. So I fully agree with that, Rob. And I agree with you, Tyler. I think that is pretty much right where I'm at in terms of what to expect from Billy Napier next year. Like, I think that you don't have to be in the playoff, but like, yeah, you need to win 9 games. And if you're not in it, you need to be, within the first 3 teams out or something along those lines. You need to be in. Basically, what I want is this time next year, we need to be in the college football playoff discussion. We need to be in the mix, in contention, a team that people are talking about. Because where I kind of stand with Billy right now is like these last 2 weeks were enough to get me to like buy in and sign off on year 4. Like, I think he's earned year 4. I'm ready to see year 4. But with the potential that he's got and kind of the bill of goods we've been sold about what their plan is this offseason in terms of beefing up the roster, if you go 8-4 next year, man. Like if you're just like barely even ranked by season, like if it takes you 4 years to finish ranked and you're still only ranked like 23, how can you feel good about where this is going? I mean, because at that point, it's hard to imagine Lagway would have had a generational kind of season if you're losing 4+ games.
I mean, if you're looking at it next season, you do play Texas. We host Texas, so that's a big plus. Georgia, obviously, we play Georgia. A&M, they're probably going to go buy a quarterback at the portal. Don't know who that could be.
Might try to buy DJ Lagway. Don't think it's going to happen.
It's not, but like they'll definitely try for that. So like that's 3 teams that could all be top 5 level teams as well. That's why I say 9-3, because then you still have like a Tennessee on the schedule. I mean, Miami's probably going to try to buy another quarterback unless they like trust Emory Williams by then. But like they're probably going to try to buy another cornerback. I don't think LSU is going to be good enough to where they're competing with us to where they're even worth mentioning right now. So LSU should be. I don't know, man. LSU is interesting right now. It's really hard to tell. But so really looking at those 4 teams, I say 9-3 because those 4 teams are probably going to be in the playoff hunt, if not in the playoffs. You need to at least be able to beat one of them. Ideally, you beat 2 of them. And if you can't beat any of them with DJ Lagway, I mean, that's definitely a coaching failure.
Yeah, and we've seen him lose games that it's not a talent thing. It's not that the team didn't play well enough to win. There was one of those losses this year. He's finding a way to win those games, and that's great. Yep. That's awesome. That's an awesome step. That's good progress. Got to keep it going though, because no one's going to care if you get a couple ranked wins if you lose 4 games and aren't in the postseason discussion.
Nope. Yeah, and then I mean, going on past DJ Lagway, it is going to be interesting to see if he was just made by having the possibly best QB in the country. Mm-hmm. But I mean, we do have guys like Tramel Jones and Will Griffin coming in. Will Griffin probably a higher upside than Tramel Jones is. So it's going to be interesting to see that QB battle maybe happen. They're still the portal. Maybe they go after a portal QB for a year or something. But because it's also, I mentioned, I still want to see a top 5 class. Because another thing that I was thinking about, we're going to go all in on the portal. If we're just getting 1-year guys to make the playoffs, Lagway's junior year, we're going to have to do like that exact same thing. Hopefully your other guys develop as well. But you're probably, because like the guys this season that we're bringing in, they're not really going to affect that one. And it's such a small class that's probably not going to be the difference between the national championship and 9-3. So, I mean, that's going to be a lot of money to spend. And, I mean, we're probably going to have to up the money for Lagway based on what we're seeing right now. I mean, I'd hope he gets more money with how good he is. So, we got to bring those top 5 classes in to where we don't have to have a generational type of quarterback, to where Will Griffin, who could still be a good QB. I mean, I can still see him being like on a level of like a Garrett Nussmeier or like Dylan Gabriel, to where they're QBs that can win championships. But they're not going to carry a roster that's like 10th. And instead, if they have a roster that's like 5th, they can win something big.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I am very skeptical that that's something that he's going to be able to do unless he brings in an outside OC. Because I think we're pretty clearly seeing Lagway having to do a decent amount to get the most out of this current offense. I think that can change if you bring in someone who tailors something a little bit better, better towards the actual personnel.
One good thing I have heard is I'm hearing it's pretty likely we hired a GM, which would be great for recruiting. Yeah. And which also might mean Billy does stick to calling plays as well. But Russ Callaway, I've heard he calls play when DJ's on the field for the most part. So I don't know if he trusted Russ in that top 10 matchup, because they both talk about him, all the plays and everything. Mm-hmm. So I do wonder if they go try to make that big splash of OC hire though.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think, even if it is something where Billy promotes Russ and just names him full-time play caller, I don't think even though Russ's background is air raid, so definitely kind of cut from a different cloth than Billy, I don't think if he doesn't bring in someone outside, it's still going to be Billy Napier's offense. offense. Like I don't think we can really expect to see major tweaks. I mean, I think there's been some tweaks already from the increased influence that Russ Callaway has this season, but I don't think you're going to see like a completely different offensive identity, which I wonder if maybe is what's needed if you're going to take that next step with Lagway. Maybe I'm wrong, but I certainly think that might be needed.
But hey, it's really good that we're now actually talking about Billy being able to win a championship here. Yeah. I mean, after week 3, no one would have said that. So